Gas Gas 300 first ride. Start her up. Like zero smoke. Try a little hill climb here, up the horseshoe. No complaints. We'll try and hit this hellhole. I'm thinking first gear. I'm still trying to figure out the gears, but we'll see. A little squirrely. Still pretty rusty. I haven't rode in 3 months, so. This got buried to fuck. Side blaster in here. Here comes Marco. Shit, I'm already gassed, I tell you what. First gear. Right up that, no problem. Make sure Marco gets up okay. See how many hours are on this bike. 16 minutes, I think, or 1.5 hours. Not too sure. power department. I'm coming off a YZ250, so TPI is definitely something new I've never experienced quite before. Okay, let's try this bar hill climb while we come back and maybe hit that jump. That jump's gnarly as hell. Let's see what we can do right here. Woohoo! Oh yeah. What she digs. A lot less, a lot quieter, I'll add to that. Let's see how this is looking. The death gap, as we would call it. See how that looks. Came a little short. Let's go rendezvous. Suspension is definitely a little softer on this compared to my YZ250 was. Of course, this isn't really hard enduro. This is more flowy stuff, so this bike isn't really meant for this, I guess, but still a good little break and ride. I'm trying to keep it 70% throttle for the first 3 hours or so. But we will continue this momentarily. It's pretty dry up here. A little more enduro here in a second. I feel like the more I ride this, the better it's starting to feel. I think it's starting to learn my riding style and adjust to my elevation and temperature. It just feels more crisp. Wait for Marco here. I'll give you guys a little walk around with the bike. So 2022 Gas Gas. Just picked it up a couple days ago. Only thing I have done to it is put on a pipe guard, no skid plate yet, some swing arm guards, and that's about it. That is about it. I'll let Marco lead here. After you. Starts right up though. No complaints there. Torquey as all ever. I feel like I can be in one higher gear compared to where my YZ was. Like we're about to hit a section here where I'd want to be in more of first gear. Let's try and hit it in second. Just grunty. Second gear, it just eats. This is pretty washed out around this time of year. Late September, I haven't got rain in about a couple weeks. So it is pretty slick out here. But I haven't even touched the idle screw. I don't know how the dealer set it up, but this downhill descent, I got 2 fingers on the clutch and feels like it's running pretty good. Granted, I'm no master at judging bikes, but this one does feel very good so far compared to how some of my other bikes have came from factory. Granted, with the carbureted bike, they're all jetted for sea level, whereas I ride about a mile high. I'm standing right now, so pardon my heavy breathing, but we have a pretty technical steep uphill section coming up here that a lot of bikes have been wrecked on, so we shall see exactly how she does. Marco's got. Hello! Yeah, same here. Right up that. What Marco decides here. There it is.
Right side it is!
Today that's what it was.
Yeah, it was a little bit like once you actually got to the hill.
Yeah.
It was, you actually got some bite to it there.
Yeah. One thing that's a cunt on this one compared to my old bike, and I'm grateful for this too, because on my old bike I could get into neutral when I was just sitting parked idling a lot easier, but I'd also false neutral a lot more. Going from first to second, it'd catch. This I haven't false neutraled once, but it's kind of a cunt to get into neutral when it's not running, but like right now, it's running pretty good. So we made it up the hard side. And I was debating myself all day if I wanted to hit that. I didn't hit it as clean as I wanted to. We stalled out. Or we didn't stall out, I kind of killed it because I didn't have enough speed coming through that section. Definitely not the bike's fault. that was all fucking me. I just pussyfooted the throttle and clutch and didn't give her enough bite and didn't make it up. But we regrouped, didn't dump her, and we were successfully able to go up the right side. Where if you look back on the channel, we have another video, I think it's called Wrecking Brand New YZ450FX, where, what's the hole? Where we got stuck right where I did and ended up pooping her out. This thing is cold, man. We're gonna try the left side today. Wait for Marco so he can see us. Marco! No smoke out of this thing. But it makes me want to try some crazy shit like going up that, but another time. I want to get a little more protection on it, like my bark busters and shit. So, my 2 cents, if you're on the fence about coming from a carbureted 2-stroke to fuel injected 2-stroke, I'd say just bite the bullet, especially if you're having to constantly chase jetting. This is a lot less snappy, I would say, than my old YZ250X, but the power's more linear and there's more torque. It just pulls better, and it's like running perfectly all the way around. Like, I'd be chasing some jetting issues. Granted, towards the end of me having my YZ, I had it pretty dialed in, but here comes a little swamp crossing. Well, it's actually not even a swamp anymore. Usually there's a bunch of water there, but it's dried out. Swamp's dry. That's pretty rocky. Here's a pretty good hill climb. It's pretty rocky right here. More rocks. A little squirrely there. I'm running stock tires. Like, I'm just dusting Marco out, but Parker here. Like I was saying, if you're on the fence, I would say go ahead and bite the bullet. I have no complaints. I am coming from a 250 2-stroke to a 450 4-stroke or 2-stroke. I thought due to the complaints of the fuel injected bikes being a little more flat, I wanted to upgrade to the 300, and no complaints so far. I do like the YZ suspension a little bit more. It's a little more, I don't know what to say, but a little more forgiving, I guess, a little more plush, but maybe she's still breaking in. We'll see. Do that. If I can take us to the top.
Okay.
All you. My old YZ250X would smoke a lot more than this bike does. There's zero smoke coming out of it. zero spooge. It's almost like a 4-stroke, almost concerning in a way, you know what I mean? Like it's not getting enough lube, but I didn't design it. Woohoo! Access road. Let's go up Caterpillar and check it out for a minute. Balance is nice. A little slow technical. Just some big rocks to kind of grunt her down a bit. See how stall resistant she is, and that's the end of the road for us. Can't pivot turn just yet. By the way, Marco. Oh yeah, brother. Haven't stalled this bike once. I guess you could say it was a stall. Going up the first hill climb that we did, but I manually shut it off, so I wouldn't say that was a stall at all. Jump here. Oh. I've been using one finger on the clutch. This clutch is pretty light. It's comparable to the Brembo. I can't really compare it to my YZ250X because it has the cable clutch on it, but you know, good little first ride though. I'll probably do one more little short ride and then change the oil on it. Jeez. We made it. But I'm probably around 7,000 feet right now. High 6,000 feet up there. I'll put that down. We're up there pretty good. And no complaints on how she's running. Absolutely running flawless. It's like a perfectly jetted carbureted two-stroke. Pretty great. Pretty amazing how far these bikes have come. Because I know when I first took my YZ250X out, didn't touch the carburetor at all, rode the same elevation and everything, and it was almost unrideable. So it's pretty crazy how these things just right out of the box. All I did was put a pipe guard on it. Granted, I'd like a little more protection from factory, like a skid plate that actually came with the bike and stuff, but for how much you're paying for these, you think they can throw that in there, right? A little $20 plastic piece. But gives you the option to put your own on there. But this bike is an absolute joy to ride. And if you're on the fence about getting either a KTM 300 or a Gas Gas Husky, you can't really go wrong with either of them, any of them. You have your little differences like brake tech on this compared to the Brembo. You have linkage shock as well as Explorer front forks. So it's kind of a mix of a Husky and a KTM. And that's what I wanted. I also wanted, I think these come with a little different flywheel weight. So I've heard. And just from the reviews, these seemed a little more snappier. Maybe a little bit of a different mapping than what the KTMs came with. So, and getting a Husky in my area is almost impossible. The only Husky dealer we have here in town gets maybe about 4 bikes a year, and they're gone pretty much instantly. So I guess you just got to pick your poison when it comes to these bikes. And the KTMs, I'm specifically talking about the XCWs and the EC in this case. The KTMs come with that linkageless rear shock, and I'm not really into that. It seems like it would come in handy if you're climbing boulders every day and stuff, really needing that clearance. But as for me, I don't really need that. I don't really hit my linkage off stuff, never really have. I'm not that aggressive of a rider, and sure, it's a little more of a maintenance item to take care of, but gotta do maintenance on everything, right? Clean her out a bit here. Get another. Oh, that's big rock. Downshift. And like I was telling my buddy on my old YZ250X, I would hit neutral so much on my first and second shift. I had to be in first gear a lot more because it has a 5-speed gearbox in it compared to this 6. 6 on this bike is almost a granny gear. Hardly ever see myself using it so far today, this ride. Maybe it's some more technical stuff, but when I am and I do that first and second shift, I haven't hit neutral yet, and that was a complaint I had on my YZ250X. And also, this electric start is just a breeze. When I got stopped up on that hill earlier, it came in handy there. I didn't have to kick it and take my foot off the rear brake and fall down the hill 20 feet, you know. So yeah, but first ride on this, absolutely amazing bike. This TPI is something out of the movies, right? Crazy. Just runs so good. We'll go right here. Go down by the highway. And it idles. I haven't even, like I said earlier, I haven't touched the idle screw at all. When I went over the bike, the spokes were a little loose, but I think that was just my dealer not doing the full checkup. I found a couple loose spokes, but I could sit here with the clutch pulled in, and as you can see, it's just idling perfectly. So these bikes are pretty smart. And I am running Motorex oil in this. I do have some AMS oil, but I think it's best to stick with the factory stuff on these. I've been down this way in a while. Pretty interesting little section here. This is Montana too, just riding on a little area in my hometown. See how she does up this hill here. Oh, almost lost her. Little high gear here. I was definitely in the wrong. Good little pull. I was saying I was in the wrong gear there up that hill, but it was pretty forgiving for me. It just pulled right through it. No issues whatsoever. Going through the fast stuff, it was deflecting a little bit more than my YZ would, but that's a good gear. There's a little section coming up where it's pretty rocky and technical, and I try and stand up all the way through it every time, and I usually can never get it. See how this bike does with it. Oh, there's two fallen trees there, dang it. Usually go up that right side. Still try to get a little throaty here. Stand up the whole time. There's a good little section. I did have to sit down there for a second if you saw. Get that arm pump. Here we are. Try a couple pivot turns here. My poor attempt at a slow wheelie, you know, not the best of these.